Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, I'm interviewing one of our tribe members. That means someone inside the transformation program. Her name is Karen Thomson and she runs Busy Women as she niches into helping women in business here in Australia. So she is one of our Aussie tribe members. Now, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about Karen, but also what you can expect to get out of this episode today, okay? So one of the reasons I'm interviewing a few tribe members at the moment is because the doors to my signature program are open one last time in 2024, okay? Right now, it's a great time for you to hear direct from tribe members. Now, what you can expect to get out of this episode is also linked to a bit about Karen. So Karen joined the program back in August 2023 as a foundation member. So she's been inside our transformation program for a year and she's also joined our graduate program. Okay, so by the time you join our transformation program, you should know what's going to happen after your lap around the sun. And what happens is you get options around bronze, silver, gold, or graduate club. Okay, and we're not going to go into that in detail, but for you to know that Karen's inside of our graduate club, she's all in, okay? The other thing, which I think is something really cool to know. So when Karen joined me back in August 23, it was quite obvious to me that Karen had probably more brand marketing and selling acumen than the average bookkeeper. And yet when you hear her inside the podcast interview, you'll hear her say that this is one of the main things she got from the program, okay? And on the whole, bookkeepers who come into my program, or bookkeepers globally, are the opposite to being built for this. And I will tell you, it is something that I am so proud of, that I can take bookkeepers who don't have any kind of just natural ability for the sales and the marketing side of things, and I can turn them into absolute pros in this space. Okay, I'm so proud of this, and we were just talking about this in a recent hot seat as well. Okay, so even though Karen had more acumen, more education around this stuff, it was still what she got inside the program was just transformational, and she says she'll always go back and rinse and repeat. The other thing to listen out for carefully with Karen, and one of the reasons we keep this podcast short and sweet, is just how busy she is, okay? So the big impact for Karen of joining the transformation program has been able to create her products and pricing structure and system, which she said the first client she brought on with that productized services that we give you, she feels she wouldn't have even converted them. Like that would have been I don't even bring them on. But now she can find, onboard and retain clients at twice the fees that many bookkeepers do, which is what we call find, onboard and retain without price as priority. So Karen's gone from a place of lots of time and not many clients to she is absolutely full up. She is very much on waitlist. She's had to abandon a first waitlist policy where we do a few things to keep everyone engaged. She's had to literally just start telling people it's probably going to be 3 months, and all of those people are prepared to wait for her, okay? So I think if we were going to look at probably the biggest, say, 3 impacts for Karen as you listen to today's podcast, is one has been the ability to build a pipeline, okay? So if you don't know what that is, it's like an invisible pipeline of humans who are thinking about using you, and that translates to a drip, 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 knock on the door kind of effect where you're just getting these inquiries. So she now has this really full pipeline. She's what's called oversubscribed, meaning she has a wait list. She's able to onboard these prospective clients as she wants to at really, really high fees, and they turn into raving fan clients. She's now pulling out well over 6 figures. Okay, so she's into her 6-figure income in 12 months, but the time wealth isn't there yet, and that's normal. So what we're doing, we're using our blueprint internally to recruit an all-rounder for Karen. So it's a special blueprint that we have. Use the blueprint. You see bunnies and rainbows. Don't use the blueprint, and there's a world of pain. So just use my blueprints. So now we're doing that so that in the months to come and moving into 2025, Karen's going to have this amazing full-time person that can take over a lot of the work, and she gets to take a breath, take some time off, take care of herself before she throws herself back in and scales the business again. Okay. Another thing I'd love for you to listen out for is that Karen has only just now jumped in to grab the back end systems team administration part of what we offer. So Karen literally immersed herself for the first year primarily in all the things around what we call win the work. So we divide the program into two parts, which is win the work, do the work. And we actually have someone dedicated to each. So I'm dedicated to the win the work side. That stuff's pretty complex, very hard to train someone else on that side. And then the do the work systems team business administration is headed up by Mojo McMahon. So we can help you with those two very different areas of your business. So it's just a testament to, as Karen will tell you, the program's just got everything you need to dive into at any time. I mean, for the rest of your years as a bookkeeper in practice, I hope that I get to support you with this incredible toolkit, okay, to help you to pull out that income and then that time, okay, the joy, the purpose, your dream on your terms. So, longest intro I've ever done. Let's jump in and hear from Karen Thomson. I'm Jeannie Savage, the strategic bookkeeper. I've been in practice for 14 years, but more importantly, 5 years in, I achieved a lifestyle practice. This means I scaled my business, could take my hands off the wheel, and draw a nice six-figure income while being time rich. And that's what I call my dream on my terms. I was recently awarded Women in Finance Innovator of the Year, recognizing my book, my podcast, my program, and my impact globally. The strategic bookkeeper is my life's work, and the opportunity to help bookkeepers globally achieve the income and lifestyle that sets them free absolutely fills my cup. Please do connect with me on socials at the Strategic Bookkeepers Way private Facebook group, or shoot me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Welcome, Karen.
Hello, Jeannie.
Thank you so much for coming on. Karen and I were just chatting just quickly before this episode because we're both so busy. Karen has been in our program for just a little bit over a year. Karen Thomson we've got today. So Karen's been in for a year and she is really, really busy. And go to Karen and say, tell us a bit about why you're so busy.
Maybe it's in the name. The name of my practice is Busy Women. But no, I think I might be busy because of the remarkable impact that your program has had on my practice and on me personally.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah, I really feel like it's been amazing watching your journey. You're a bookkeeper that I talk about in the tribe. I'm like, be like Karen. Get so busy that you're going to cry, right? It's good if we're getting that busy, you know what I mean? So I feel so grateful that the program has been able to have that impact. So yes, in the interest of keeping time, Karen and I are going to try and keep this episode a little bit short and sweet. And we're just going to try and share authentically while also using some questions that can be helpful so that you can just learn a bit about, I guess, what's happening for Karen, what in the program has worked well for her, because everyone gets all different things out of it, so that you can decide if you think the program is something that will work for you. So I'd love to know, Karen, why did you join the program?
So I originally joined the program back as one of your foundation members after being introduced to your book and just completely devouring it in a day. Found myself just nodding constantly as I was listening to it. And I guess what really drew me to the program was I was at a point in my practice. So at that stage, my practice had officially launched only 5 or 6 months before that. So I was very startup. And I had no idea what I was doing as far as pricing. I was at that point still charging hourly, and I knew that that was not a model for success. But and I'd been following a few people globally about sort of, outcome pricing, etc. But I just had no idea how to package it, how to price it. So it was on the pricing that really made me gravitate to the program. But coupled with that, I was very inspired by an Australian bookkeeper who had experienced success in scaling their business to be small but mighty. So it was that whole business blueprint that really captivated me.
Fantastic. So pricing and also Yeah, I mean, being able to get in front of someone who's been there, done that, and yeah, says, okay, I know what works. And we talk a lot about the blueprint inside the program. And I get really frustrated if anyone wants to mess with the blueprint. And so, okay, and you're using the blueprint in terms of recruitment, which we just chatted to Jen about as well, which I'm really excited about. So then that probably leads to, and yeah, pricing, like, I just did 3 episodes on pricing in terms of, because the other things that we're going to cover off is kind of like what's changed for you and your favorite parts. So I want to combine those and say, what's changed? And I guess, what do you think has been most impactful inside the program, even if it's many things?
I guess what's been most impactful is I've gone on this journey with you and through your program, your genius, your Jeannie genius, in really learning that front end of the business, that sales and marketing side of things. I mean, my background is in event and project management. I understand marketing, but sales, as a term, is not something I've really learned. I hadn't learnt the skills of it and what that really looks like. And that whole, the law of attraction and the conversion and the science behind it. So that's really where I've immersed myself over the last 12 months, but utilizing the amazing marketing assets that come with the program and really learning the language and the psychology of it all.
Yes. For the Better in Business Academy, I've just been writing, like, this is about learning a language, isn't it? And then suddenly you're speaking the language of your prospective clients and they're all going, yes, where's the go button? And you're like, wasn't I saying the same thing before? And it's like, yeah, but it was in a different language.
Yeah.
And in terms of Win the Work front end, I hear you're on waitlist.
I am. I'm now.
A very special podcast interruption. Listen up, my friends. The doors to the transformation program are open. That's right. You can go to the strategicbookkeeper.global/TSB and join up right now. But here's the thing. This is the last time we are opening the doors in 2024. Okay, so this is the last call and they are closing on October 23. Now, if you've got any questions, you can send me an email to hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. To the bookkeepers who are backing themselves and going for it, I'll see you inside the program.
I'm now pivoted to ferociously working on the back end of the business because now that I feel like I've made some real strides in the front end, I'm now focused on systems and teams so that I can take the next level of growth and scaling and bringing someone on board and just getting the house in order, so to speak.
Yeah, and getting a minute to yourself.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Discomfort precedes victory. We've all been there, right? I've been laptop under the 7 days a week. And, I don't think it's something I ever really explain in the program. It's like, oh, by the way, you're going to get really busy eventually. And there's going to be this patch before you get staff, right? Or your second staff member or whatever it is, where you just feel like, oh my goodness, be careful what you wish for. And it probably seems logical before you get there, right? Okay, yeah, I'll get really busy and obviously I'll be really busy and that might be hard. But when you're in it.
Well, I think it's also there's busy, but there's the juggling and wearing of all the hats that I think, we've got to be really careful to look after ourselves in the process because it can be really taxing on you mentally, physically. And yeah, part of what I've been doing before I take this next step of bringing someone on board as my first hire is making sure I'm showing up as my best self because, I want to be an inspiration to somebody else. I don't want to be this worn out, tired, manager.
Yes, yeah. And all the hats is why I've got now, it took 14 years, but now we've got this blueprint around recruiting this all-rounder that is affordable for a practice as well, because it is definitely one of the things that we need to do is to be able to hand off these hats, right?
Yeah. Hard to let go.
And so, okay, so this is good because we talked about, and I can see like what's changed is really, I guess, exactly what you said about you're now on waitlist. I know that people are calling Karen and she's just pretty much saying, look, I can't work with you right now, and God only knows when I'll be able to. And they're still waiting. They're like, that's okay. We won't go anywhere. We're waiting for you, Karen. So do you think having a pipeline is a big part of what has changed?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think I've really learnt to understand that whole farming process, that everything we're doing through the customer journey and how people are discovering us and our business and what we're putting out there through our social media, our website and our networking, and how that, I had no idea that people were in my pipeline until all of a sudden they're knocking down my door saying, how can I work with you? And I didn't realize that it was there, and it was, one after the other, after the other, after the other. I had no idea.
Yes, and that's why I say it's an invisible, and it's kind of like I'd achieved that 5 years in, but I really didn't understand why, and so I spent the next 5 years trying to understand how that happened and why. It's a little bit like the delivery man knocking on the door every 5 minutes, isn't it?
Exactly. So where did this come from?
It's another parcel. I don't remember buying this. So, okay, pipeline, awesome. And I would say you also are able to find and onboard these prospective clients without price as a priority.
Definitely.
Which is really critically important. Okay, so what about, can you give me your top 1, 2, or 3 favorite things inside the program?
I really like the simplicity of pricing calculator to just streamline and systemize, an offering of 3 leveled packages, and the client could choose their own adventure. I'm obviously going to put forward my recommendation, but I like the simplicity of that because rather than trying to offer up something bespoke to every client, which is a recipe for disaster because you can't scale that way. I really love that. I love that we genuinely can choose our own adventure inside the program. There's different areas. There is so much content and so much information, which can be overwhelming at times, especially when you're an overachiever and you want to do all the things yesterday. What I like about it is that we can choose our own adventure in that we can dive into what we need at that time. And sometimes that's a bit of a challenge because you don't know what you need. You need all the things. But what I've learnt over the course of, my first lap around the sun with you is that I can focus on one thing, get that right, then focus on something else. And like even now, I'm focusing on the systems and team content.
A year in, right?
A year in, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that the content is, and I will go back to all the front end stuff and review, Yeah, I like the fact that everything that you're serving up not only has so much relevance, but it has such a lifespan that is endless,
Endless,
and you're adding to it constantly, and you're there, when we're not sure about something, that you're there and guiding us along the way.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I think of it totally as a toolkit, and you reach in and you grab what you need when you need it. But then the other thing I think is important, and why I like it better than just say a standalone course, is that, when you're looking for something, you can also go into either the Facebook group or message me. I had someone called last week about products and pricing. I totally should have got it on the Zoom. It was golden. But, you can reach out to anyone and go, where's that thing? Where's that? I'm doing this. There's something that I need to help me. And it's like, yeah. You'll go here, go to transformation module, succession, demand and desire, grab the 20-minute call process, but also go over the advisory module. That's in a different section. Grab that, because you don't want to be there. If you want it quick, you just want to be able to get it quick, right? So I think the ecosystem works well where you've got the one-to-group coaching, but you've also just got the ability to, whether it's 10 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning, you can just be in there getting what you need and working through everything as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, interesting, because I love the products and pricing as well. Like what you said about, because I just did episodes on this. Remember when there was a time where we'd just say to a prospective client, oh, yep, what do you need? And it's like the most dangerous question you can ask
Yeah.
Never do it. Oh my goodness. Whereas, when you say, tell me about yourself, and then they download it, and it's like everyone needs the same thing. If we remove admin and accounts from the equation, bookkeeping is same for everyone, and then just tell us a few nuances. And I just think, yeah, for me, products and pricing is just transformational and saves you so much freaking time. Okay, awesome. Probably just last two things. Let's just quickly talk, return on investment. So I can't remember if you paid the $99 a week or upfront. What did you go for?
I did the $99 a week. I was such a startup, and,
Yeah.
and full disclosure, it made me feel sick committing to that for a year upfront without it being proven to me. It took a lot of courage to be one of those early adopters. I'd been burnt through another program before, and it took so much courage for me to do that. But I also knew that I needed someone who had experienced success to guide me.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it was like, I want to give everyone access. So I'll do this low weekly fee while at the same time, I know that there is a percentage of bookkeepers who will always be too scared to join for the year commitment, right? Now we have a 30-day trial. You don't get the Canva assets, which I won't go into for listeners right now. We have a 30-day trial, so because it makes people feel better, right? And they're like, oh, okay, I've got 30 days. My risk is $500 or whatever it is, $400. And if I don't get the value, then I can just opt out, which is helpful. But I think it was interesting, Karen, recently when we were coming up to the first lot of Tribe coming through year one, I reached out to every single Tribe member. So we had Tribe members join the Graduate Club immediately. And then I had a handful that I was struggling to reach. So some of them were like, yeah, I want in. I just haven't got to my email. Just put me in, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Then, because we've got about 65% of Tribe members stay completely all in. And it was really wonderful for the few that were opting out. The feedback was like, this has been the best program I've ever been involved in. Like, I've decided that this is enough for me right now. One was like, oh, something's going on in her life. She said, I'll see you in 3 months. And I was like, yes. But it was really, it's always a vulnerable place to go to when you're seeking that honest feedback. But to find out that it was, overwhelmingly positive was amazing. All right. So we've got your favorite parts. And then, yeah, dollars generated. What do you think your ROI has been?
Goodness. I was trying to remember the time frame of my ROI on the investment, and I'm pretty sure it was something in the realm of within 8 weeks.
Yeah, you pay for the whole year.
Joining the program. I'm pretty sure within 8 weeks, I had not only got the return back on the annual investment, but I'm pretty sure I doubled it.
I remember you saying, I just bought a client on for this, and it was like double the investment. Yes. Okay. And did you find that happen with products and pricing? Because that's what I find. Yeah. Yes. Products and pricing.
I could never have got that client over the line if it wasn't the program. There's no way.
Oh, that is so exciting. All right. And what would you say to someone sitting right on the fence about joining the program?
What would I say? Well, apart from just saying, just do it. But if you're like me and you're hesitating because that the thought of with where you're at in your practice that investing $99 a week for a whole year seems really scary and overwhelming, I would say park that for a moment. Think about all the things about what you're hearing about the program, what really resonates and what it is in that you want. And then put that on one side and say, well, for $99 a week, how else are you going to get that?
That's what I say.
It's just putting some rational thinking around it.
Yeah,
because it really isn't just a how-to guide. It's everything that comes with it. It is the done for you assets. It is, and it's genuine. Like they're there. They're available to us all the time and they're getting added to all the time. So yeah, the value is ridiculously more than the price tag.
Isn't it? I know, like I look at every single little part of it. Like I know if you're going to even attempt to build out what we give you, it's at least 100K. And I know that because that's what my team costs to maintain it. You know what I mean? And then even then, because you don't have a veteran bookkeeper in your corner, is a marketing agency really going to be able to do this? And I remember one of our tribe members who you know really well, when she said right at the beginning, oh, I'm in another program, otherwise I'd join. And I said, well, hey, I'm pretty sure all the things that you need in your practice like are in my vault. And so like fair call if you don't join, but I just hate to think you're going to go spend all this time and money developing something we've already got. And she said, oh my goodness, I didn't think of it that way. Jumped in, grabbed it all. And she's one of those tribe members who doesn't really mess with collateral. She uses the $1 million copy as is, like you do. And that I do think success leaves clues, and you use the $1 million copy and the assets as is, and all you do is chop pieces out and then put them elsewhere, which is exactly, you know, you don't need to create something fresh. You take what we've got and you just keep using it.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is, you know, and this is part of the blueprint, that, you know, you stand by what you say. There's a money back guarantee. That is genuine. You know, if someone comes in and they do the program and they follow the steps that you're telling them to follow and it doesn't work for them, then there's a money back guarantee. So you've literally got nothing to lose.
Yeah, and there's nothing that I won't do. You know, I have a little joke, you know, I'll find you if somebody's I sent out the little message recently just to see if I could identify anyone who was struggling a bit, and most reached out, but one person didn't. And so I was on to her on the weekend and everything. She's like, see, this woman doesn't let up. But you know what? Suddenly last night she was in Facebook and I was like, this is why I do it. This is why I'm relentless. This is why I'm like Joan of Arc. I don't stop. So it was really, to me, it was exciting she got back to me on a weekend. She was like, yeah, Jeannie, I'm getting your messages. I'm just, you know, this is going on, that's going on. And I thought, yeah, but I just, you know, I just want to try my hardest just to see her back in the group, making comments. You know, I thought, a spark again, right? If you know that I've always got my eyes on you, I think it's a really important part of being the leader in this thing, the strategic bookkeeper, is to really try and keep my eyes on the troops, if you know what I mean. I want us all to be victors.
We're all going to go on a retreat together one day and celebrate.
We are. We're doing Hedra and I are working hard on our first 3-day online retreat, 3 days of personal and professional growth in February next year. And then I'd like to announce, it's going to be so good, all free for the tribe. Going to hopefully then announce an in-person one as at February. So yeah.
How exciting.
Amazing. Miss Karen Thomson, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thanks, Jeannie. Thanks for everything that you do for everyone. It's, amazing.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Okay, my friend, now it is time to take action. So what are you going to do with what you learned today? The way I see it, you've got two options. You can go it alone to try and save some money, or you can back yourself and go for it and join my tribe. And let me tell you, we are knocking it out of the ballpark. That's not a sales pitch. That is me serving you, dare I say, courageously. To find success, I 100% know you need the mechanics, which is like the keys to the kingdom, but you also need to get your mindset right and be super productive. And these are all things I help you with inside the program. I could go on about this forever because I really want this for you. Have a prosperous week, and I'll see you in the next episode.